Who Watches the Rewatchers, a Buffy rewatch podcast. Hey, this is Alan, and before we get started today, I just wanted to break in and quickly apologize. This episode was recorded by myself and Jarrod when he was in Knoxville, and I recorded it to our two separate audio devices, as is our habit, but last week I dropped my hard drive that I had stored all of this on. And that hard drive is toast. I'm trying to recover it. Maybe I'll get it back someday. I don't know. But in the meantime, of the two recordings on our lapels, the only one that survived was the one on my lapel. So I did my absolute best to turn Jarrod up, the sound from my lapel. When Jarrod would talk, I was turning up the sound from my lapel in order to get him equivalent to me. I don't think that entirely worked, but I do think that this conversation is understandable, and we got a bunch of good stuff here. And this is one of the greatest episodes of Buffy ever. So I hope you still enjoy this episode, despite the fact that it does have some significant audio problems.
Hey, Alan, when I say the word passion, what comes to mind?
Oh, man. A lot of different things, but the thing that actually first enters my mind is that I wrote a song called Passion years before I ever watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Was it a super sexy song?
It was not. It was a song about trying to achieve life dreams.
Okay. Well, that falls into a certain genre of the way one might understand passion.
Sure. Right. Absolutely.
Is there another film that you can think of that has the word passion in the title?
I mean,
besides, I don't know, maybe something you would see on Cinemax.
Yeah, right. That's actually exactly where I was about to go, Jerry.
Right.
So let's see. Actually, to be honest with you, the one that just popped into my mind wasn't there like a Sharon Stone kind of movie that was a big deal back in the 90s?
Basic Instinct.
That's the one.
Okay, so it is something in the genre of steamy.
Yeah, sure.
Well, how about Passion of the Christ?
Oh, that's a great one.
Interesting, because we're talking about super steamy sexuality.
Right.
You're talking about pursuing your
Life,
dreams.
Yeah,
The
dreams.
song you wrote when you were younger.
Sure.
And then I just referenced a film that is quite famously known for a brutal public execution.
Right. And all of its passion.
All of its passion.
Right.
Well, if we could sort through it, maybe we could understand passion. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's right. This episode that we are looking at today
That's right.
is called Passion. It's season 2, episode 17, and it's completely voiced over by Angel, right?
Right.
David Boreanaz. This is him as Angelus, right? Like,
Right.
he is being the bad guy.
He's being the bad guy.
Even as he's voicing it over.
And it's very, very noir influenced.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, did this in the opening intro, did this reveal the metaphor for the show, in your opinion?
Oh, I'm not sure I know. What do you think?
Well, I've been thinking a lot about this show because I went and found all these quotes that Angela says about passion.
Sure.
Because on the nose, that's what it's talking about.
Sure.
But what of passion is it trying to say? And
Right.
it's trying to discern it. And I'm not sure that it nails down on one particular viewpoint of passion. But let's just read some quotes.
Sure.
Read some quotes and we can get into the story. Here's one. Passion lies in all of us, sleeping, waiting, and although unwanted, unbidden, it will stir, open its jaws, and howl. Another one is, without passion, we'd truly be dead. So it seems there to be a necessity. Passion is the source of our finest moments, the joy of love, the clarity of hatred, which I found to be interesting, and the ecstasy of grief. Ecstasy is being outside of oneself. I really thought long and hard about what they're saying. He talks sometimes about how passion rules all of us.
Right.
It's born, though uninvited.
Right.
Unwelcome, unwanted, like a cancer. It takes root, it festers. But it talks in other places about how it brings us the best in us,
Sure.
the worst in us. So I was trying to figure out what it wants to say to us about passion.
Well, okay, so in classic Whedon form, I think that what he's trying to do is say something about all of that.
Okay.
Because what he'll typically do is very much like I was about to say like an ad manager or something. Like what we do a lot of times in advertising is we try to drill down to specific words that have a connotation that the person manufacturing products wants to be in the mind of the people who might be consuming said products, right? And then we try to like twist that and find all the ways that we can think about getting those key terms into the mind of the person, of the consumer. And I think that in a lot of cases, especially when we start getting to this part of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and in the future, what Whedon's really wanting to do is he is wanting to explore an idea from a bunch of different angles, you know? So uh, I was just saying a moment ago to you off mic that in my screenwriting class, I have my students watch and listen to Whedon's narrative on the subject of the episode Hush from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And what he wanted to do in that episode, we'll talk about it more when we get there, was he wanted to talk about the idea that sometimes we communicate better when we don't talk. And so he wanted to explore what it meant to have verbal communication and nonverbal communication from all these different perspectives. And I think that in this episode, he's really drilling down on that idea from the perspective of passion. He's basically saying, here are all the various ways that someone can experience passion. And now let's tell a story where we sort of explore that from all the various angles.
All right, well, let's look at it. It starts with Buffy waking up and finding an envelope, right? Isn't that the cold open?
The cold open is actually Angel hanging out with them in the shadows while they're at the bronze.
Yes. I also now that you say that, I'm now getting the images, and I did find that to be a bit unbelievable.
Very.
He's right there.
Yeah.
But and he also follows her, and
Yeah.
she is the least Slayer like
Yes.
of the whole run of the show thus far, because he's like completely just being
Oblivious.
girl. She's dancing with her friend Xander,
Right.
and then she walks out. Xander's with Cordy, and and she's just completely like having a great time, not on her guard, no spidey sense,
no, at all.
Yeah,
totally agreed.
that's right.
So then after,
And he's talking, so we get the David Moranis jersey, and
that's where we get this voiceover about passion, where I think that we are kind of teetering on the edge of understanding what the show is going to be about from a thematic perspective. Then we cut to the opening credits, and by the way, before the opening credits, we see Buffy go to sleep, and we see Angel in her window.
Right. Another moment where I felt like she would probably be unfortunately feeling that presence.
Yes. So then after the opening music, that's when
She wakes up and he was in the room.
yes.
Back in the room, and there on her pillow is a charcoal drawing, really nice drawing, of herself sleeping. Which is this happens several points during this episode, which really conjures up those stalker vibes of the I did think in this episode a lot of voyeurism happened.
Yes.
And and it had that crossing the boundary feel of someone who's lurking and watching when they shouldn't.
Right.
Not just because they're drawing, but just because he is, and the camera is put in that position of the voyeur around in the dark corners.
Very much.
Yeah. So it puts the viewer in that position.
Okay, so
you should see.
That's true. So my question to you is, how is that related to passion? Is it the idea of obsession as opposed to passion?
Well, so I would think so. So just going through some like historical understandings of passion, because it's been used differently and thought differently by in the Western world. Plato was pretty distrustful of passion, right? So it's something that probably was part of the lower part of your soul,
Sure.
right? The kind of the more base instinctual elements of you. Aristotle had a little bit higher view, like passion was part of your natural like desires and yearnings
Okay. Okay.
and needed to be balanced by reason. So a lot of times when you look at Aristotle and then later with Thomas Aquinas, like virtue is a mean between extremes. So there's a more moderate approach to something.
Sure.
Right. And I actually think there's a lot to be said about what Aristotle's talking about, whether you have a passion, like just an emotive desire or a fear or something. Um, it's something that it needs to be controlled and measured, right? That's
Sure.
that takes it. Stoicism sort of has this like the ancient Stoics had this really sort of like really negative view of passion. Passion was something to look at with a great deal of suspicion and worry and concern because what you're always trying to do is kind of overcome all of it and be completely reasonable and rational all the way through.
I see.
When the Christianity comes in, Aquinas would take a very Aristotelian sort of view. Augustine has a lot, of fallen nature language associated with things of passion. But ultimately, that word passion ends up becoming, in the medieval Christian world, a language to describe pain, right? The passion of the Christ is the suffering.
That's actually what I was just about to ask you is how did that enter the vernacular? So interesting.
So it's etymological, but it has to do with that pain and that suffering
I see.
and what that uh yeah, so passions is kind of a feeling that we all have. For Aquinas or Aristotle can be virtuous, or they could be driven towards vice and such. But passion itself is about the suffering that is going to some purpose, right?
Interesting.
And compassion is a word that means to suffer with. So to bear with someone's suffering. When you get into the modern philosophers, and I looked at this, Angel is an 18th century Irish person.
Right.
I even looked at Irish philosophers of the 18th century.
Okay.
There's a varied approach to passion depending on who you're talking about. But I found a lot of what's being said here to be really in fitting with like a Nietzsche, which is like passion is something that's not looked down upon. It's
Okay.
drive, it's instinct.
I see.
And it can be it's suppressing it can be a dangerous thing, but it itself can also be dangerous to you. So like there's back and forth depending on the thinker. So I found it very modern,
Okay.
and I'm not sure that illuminates anything of the show. I just think that it's really hard for a person like we to get away from what you see in modern thought, or maybe even more of in an existentialist tenor.
Sure.
So, because I kind of find it a little bit all over the place. It just
Yes.
sides of the point.
Yes.
But yeah, uh, I found the conversation interesting that Buffy has with Joyce, her mom.
Okay. Well, before we get there,
Okay, yeah.
we have the scene where Buffy tells Giles and Xander and Cordelia about the image, and they have a long conversation about it. This is when Giles is basically saying that we need to perform a ritual so that Angel can't get into your house.
Right.
And Cordelia is obsessed with the idea they also have to perform this ritual on her car, right? And she and Xander are definitely there to make this incredible exposition dump more tolerable, because there's an incredible dump of exposition between the conversation between Giles and Buffy. But Xander is basically making a bunch of quips about Buffy being the Watcher's pet, and Cordelia is there making all of her comments about the car or whatever, and all of it's very funny. But I think ultimately all of that conversation is there to make it more palatable to hear the long diatribe between Buffy and Giles.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
And that's why you wanted to skip over and go straight to
Well, that was the next interesting bit to me.
Yeah.
Stuff for sure. But
right.
you're right, and it needed the exposition because why didn't they already do the spell in the first place?
Yeah, right.
Catching us all up to speed.
Should have been that done episodes ago.
Yes, exactly when he goes bad, right? Okay, but we can do this, right? But this is interesting though, because I think the last episode you and I we talked about Joyce's role in the show.
Yes.
How well they write it, or if they really want her around very much.
Yeah, right.
Well, and she has a conversation with her basically saying, "Mom, if you see that guy, oh yeah, that college age tutor,"
Right.
which I thought like mind blowing. I'm like, there's no way. I'm just kind of uh like halfway knowing that my daughter has a college aged tutor.
Right.
But like he just seems so out of, but whatever. That's the way they write these things in shows in the 90s. It just reminded me of, I think I've referenced before, like Beverly Hills 90210. My parents and I we were watching it, and they're like I don't know, one of the kids gets high or drunk or something, and the dad's like, "Hey, son, I just want you to know I'm a little disappointed." My dad and mom are like, "Whatever, like you would be in so much trouble," like it's so not realistic. Anyway, she's telling her like, "Listen, that guy, there's been some troubles. We're breaking up, but he's showing up a lot. If and he shows up, she's trying to say to her mom, I need you to take care of yourself and be safe,
Right.
but she's not wanting her to know that he's a vampire or any of that. So she's like, yeah, just put him off, send him away, whatever.
Right.
And she's like, Buffy, are you okay? She gets concerned, and I found it to be really interesting. Unbelievable, I think, but also pretty interesting.
Sure.
What do you think about the interactions and what she's telling her?
Well, let's see. What did I have any real feelings here? I have always found Joyce's um, inability to connect with Buffy to be somewhat unbelievable, just because of I don't know. Okay, let me rephrase this. Mom, if you ever listen to this, take it with a grain of salt. um, um,
Ion's mom.
that's exactly right. Um, when I was a kid, when I was Buffy's age in the show, um, I had an adversarial relationship with my stepfather. And my mom, while she was wonderful and did everything she possibly could for me at all times, um, was a little bit absentee at that period of time because she needed to be. Like I don't begrudge her any of it in any way. She was going back to school so that she could provide for the family better. She was working a full-time job and going to school at night. This went on for years, definitely all the way through my high school years. Um, I felt a little disconnected from the family at that time, and that probably got heightened as I left home, and probably created some other situations. So from that perspective, I can understand why Joyce and Buffy aren't connecting in these moments. When I think about my current relationship with my own daughter, I don't get this at all
No, I don't either.
because you know, my daughter will definitely ignore me to watch her iPhone. But when we talk, we either have very superficial, stupid conversations about video games or pop culture, or there's a real level of connection there. If I have a pretty good sense of who her friends are and what her relationships are with her friends and what boys she's somewhat interested in, all that kind of stuff. Whereas I don't think Joyce in this scene represents any interest in any of those ideas.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting and unbelievable because she's really concerned. She's saying, has he been abusive? And I can imagine my wife at the even thought that her daughter's boyfriend was abusive, basically mounting up, ready to go to war.
Yeah.
Right. But Joyce is all very, very, very serene and very reassured out of the whole thing. So, but it's bringing up dark material. This is stuff that happens to people. It's really, 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 really dark material. They have to deal with it in an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. Later that night, right, Willow, she has her own encounter with
That's exactly right.
Voyeur, right? She's in a room getting ready, I think. Is it in an envelope or that she has to open up the envelope on her bed or something?
Yes, that's exactly right. And when she opens up the envelope, what does she find?
It's because she just fed the goldfish. Right?
Because she just poured the goldfish food into but there aren't any goldfish in there.
Right, that's right. Yeah. What comes out? This is when my daughter goes into the room and sits down. It's just like, what's that? Out of the envelope is a string of dead goldfish, right? Like,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
sort of
And so there's a smash cut and Willow is sleeping at Buffy's.
right, yeah, having a sleepover. But the point is, the Spike's been in her room, or in a Spike
Angel.
and I remember as I was watching, it's like, oh yeah, he came over that one time.
Right.
So now she's over there. Thanks for letting me stay over here. And I think they're holding steaks.
Yeah,
Man.
that's exactly right. Now, this all having been said, we skipped over one very, very tiny thing that I feel like we need to mention because it'll be important in just a minute here,
Yeah.
which is that just before this, Jenny Calendar asked Willow to substitute teach her class, and Willow got very excited. So I'm teaching a class, me?
It's just totally weird. But yeah.
It's totally weird. Although I will say I did get asked to teach some music theory classes when I was in high school.
That's totally weird. You're in high school, but okay. Well, good for you. No one asked me. Here, come and teach to us the finer points of the dangling participle.
Yeah. Right. No, you didn't happen, huh? That's hilarious.
I couldn't have told anybody anything anyway, but yeah, so that she's gonna be teaching that class, and we're also getting in this episode a little introduction to the world of magical commerce.
Sure.
Will happen throughout the show.
Right.
And there's I don't even know if they set up or established what the store is, but there's a store that's coming up in this episode.
Yes, the magic shop or whatever it is.
The magic shop.
Right.
Yeah. And it's sort of like I always think of like a Spencer Gifts or a Richard's Variety or something, but just for magical things and investments and stuff. And I'm totally interested in places like this.
Sure. And apparently Giles is too. He's going to own it in 3 seasons.
He is. And yeah. Drusilla, right? But before we get there, actually, because I'm saying Drusilla has a vision.
That's right.
Talk about that vision.
So I don't know that I remember the details of the vision, but what I know is that Angel comes over to see, or he shows up at the warehouse. So we have Spike and Drusilla and Angel, and there's a moment of tension there where we're reminded that Spike and Angel are
competitors.
That's right. And basically Drusilla kind of wanders away saying, "Oh, you boys are fighting over me again," kind of a thing, and then she has a vision where she says something to the effect of an old enemy's seeking help, and the old enemy is coming to destroy our happy home.
Yeah, she's gonna break up their little dark trinity.
Right. So I don't know so much that it's there wasn't an image that I could talk about. That's the reason I was trying to talk through it. It's not like she saw someone doing something.
Vision, she's reporting it. We don't see it. That's
right. And then we go to the magic.
I love how Wikipedia is describing the plot. Jenny goes to a gypsy novelty shop.
Yeah, right.
She buys something called the Orb of Thessaly, which is I don't know what you want to call this sort of plot device where they come up with some form of relic or thing, magical thing that they can go and buy from a store.
Yeah.
Now, presumably there are many orbs of Thessaly in the world.
Sure.
Or they're just lucky that this one has the one. I'm not sure yet. I think there's probably many orbs of Thessaly. Jenny Calendar needs it because this is
okay. I gotta point something out about the Orb of Thessaly.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever noticed this when you were watching Buffy, but when she buys the Orb of Thessaly, he says, "Oh yeah, I've got one. I've been selling them as paperweights."
Yeah.
Okay. Did you catch that in a couple episodes when they need an Orb of Thessaly again? Giles says, "Oh, I've got one. I bought it as paperweight."
No.
It's coming up in a couple episodes.
All right. Well, I'm glad they do the callback. That's because he's like, "Yeah, I need an Orb of Thessaly." Oh yeah, I got it. And so is a couple paperweights. It makes you think that it's just a scam.
Right.
You can't really do anything real.
Right.
But she's got some sort of strange magic that can somehow use it to reinstill the soul back to Angel. This episode starting to get Jenny back into the good graces of Buffy.
Right.
And also Giles. Right. And then she's starting to warm back up. She's got work to do. She's got to go do this thing. This is why Willow needs to teach, because she's got some work to do.
Right.
And
that's right.
The whole situation.
I love the conversation, though. I got to mention this between the shopkeeper and Jenny. He says, "You know, the Orb of Thessaly is pretty much useless." Yeah. And she says, "Well, yeah, I know." He says, "I'm just making sure you know because of our return policy."
That's great. Right after this, right? Is it right after this where Buffy and Jenny get their conversation?
I think right after this is actually when Buffy and Willow and Xander are coming to school, and Xander. This is no longer appropriate humor, but but Xander says something like, "What did you guys do last night?" And they say, "Oh, we had a sleepover." And he says something like, "I hope you took pictures." Yeah. And then we have the conversation between Buffy and Jenny. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Buffy runs into Jenny, and it's a little cold, but also open. This says different thing. And he's like, "Look, man, Giles misses you, and no matter what, he needs to be happy." So she's starting to try to overcome her anger feelings.
Yes.
Marcella, my daughter, is like, "Why are they mad at her?"
Mhm.
I tried to explain it, and she goes, "Yeah, so why are they mad at her?" I'm like, "I don't think they do
A great job of expressing it.
well. I mean, I think that we've talked about this before. Like, they needed to have to have the gypsy thing happen the way. So they folded in all this and like betrayal stuff. Like, is it
Yeah, I think that what they tried to pull off is different from what they actually did. And I think what they tried to pull off is the idea that um, Jenny knew what would happen
right?
if Buffy and Angel
Awesome.
consummated, and and Buffy feels betrayed because Jenny didn't warn her. But I don't think that they ever spell it out that clearly. I don't think that Jenny actually knew. I think that Jenny knew that something would happen if Angel had a moment of happiness. But I don't know that she knew that that was what would cause it.
One moment of happiness. Interestingly, today, so dear listener, I am actually sitting across from Alan. We're usually Zooming in his office today at his university. I'm at a conference here. Today, I went and took a break, and I went to the hotel room, and I found Buffy just on the TV and Sir 4. And there's a whole scene where Xander gets to tell Buffy's boyfriend about how how Angel went bad and how he's good again, and it totally increases the drama. And you get to hear Xander's speech about it. Yeah, apparently one little amount of pleasure. It's right. It was always happy.
Yes. An hour.
True happy.
Yeah.
One little pleasure. Anyway, so yeah. So Giles and Buffy.
They actually, I got to say this real quick. They actually addressed that on the Angel show eventually too. Yeah, because in I don't remember if it's in the 4th season or the 5th season of Angel, he gets a new girlfriend who's a girl who's a werewolf. Do you remember this, or did you ever see this?
I watched it off and on, but I wasn't as into it.
Yeah, sure, fair enough. So anyway, Angel got a bunch of flack from people because he was like, "But you can't have sex." And he was like, "You don't experience pure happiness every time you have sex. I think it'll be okay."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because get a big part of the reductionistic nature of it all here, but
Yeah.
yeah. So Giles and Buffy, they're like conversation, and he's found this ritual that I'm assuming he could have found quicker, but he found this ritual to take the vampire invitation away.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Joyce is coming home from work or whatever she's doing, and when she gets home to their house, Angel's just in the front yard,
Yep.
like a crazy, strange boyfriend,
Yes.
playing that part really, really well. It's almost like how Buffy set it up. He knew, because how she set it up to her mom, he fell right into playing the exact part. But as he's like talking to her, he's like, "I need you to talk to her for me. I need you to tell her I love her. I need you to, please." And she's like, she's very strong. And this is the only part where I'm like, "Joyce, go get it." She's like, "My daughter doesn't want to see you. Leave her alone. You're bothering, you're scaring her, whatever." And he's going to follow her into the house, but he can't come in. So he that's how we find out that the spell has been done.
Right.
And it's interesting because Buffy's standing there at the door and just kind of walks and shuts the door on his face. It's a pretty awesome moment for her.
It
It
is.
doesn't happen without her getting some information spilled, right?
That's right. Which is that now Joyce knows that she's been.
Yeah, because very cruelly, he tells Joyce's mom or lets her know that they had to consummate it. So
Right.
this is now her teenage daughter who's and sexually active.
Right.
And also, that's a college boy.
Right,
All
right.
kinds of things, right?
Sure. Now, the thing that I thought you were going to talk about is Willow doing her Latin chant behind Buffy.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it was very Catholic-y, liturgical kind of stuff or whatever. And I thought for sure that you would be interested in that.
I think I was, but I think there's the image of her just kind of in a total Buffy fashion.
Mhm.
She's got this. She's just tough, cool, and she's gonna stand up. She's surrenders to the door. So,
Yeah.
boom.
It is a strong visual. I totally agree.
I was also thinking like they're doing it right now, like just now, like it
Yeah.
feels like
Should have been 5 episodes ago.
cutting it closer.
Yeah, right.
To the moment where Joyce almost gets it really.
Mm.
Giles and Jenny connect. Jenny's working late at school on the computer doing whatever. She's translating. She's copying and pasting. I laughed when I saw the computer screen and what it looked like. My daughter is sitting there. She's 12 and she's like looking at it. And I'm like, that's the way these things used to look. That's a floppy disk, right? Floppy disk. She's whatever. She finds something really compelling. She's doing research. It's going to eventually be very, very important for the Scoobies to know about.
Right.
Right now, she doesn't tell anybody. But the floppy disk, you see it. She puts it on the floppy disk, and there's also a printer, old school printer with the tear off on the side, whatever those things were called.
Sure.
Yeah, and it. Meanwhile, when Giles finds her, he's like, hey, let's get out of here, whatever. Like they're definitely kind of coming back to each other.
Yes.
And she's like, I'll go meet you. Let me finish up here, which is one of those moments where they dangle that little carrot that Giles is going to be happy. He walks away, kind of, you could feel it. You could feel the weight coming off of him.
Yeah.
And so could she. And
now, before you go on,
oh yes, sir.
Have you ever seen the meme that I think is a direct reference to this episode? It's guns don't kill people, Joss Whedon kills people.
No, but yeah.
Anyway, we'll get there.
All right.
So the other interesting thing right at this moment that I guess I'm curious about from your perspective is we have okay, one of the things I found interesting here was we're talking about passion. We have Giles and Jenny, their passion for each other.
Yes.
We have Angel's passion for Buffy.
Right.
Frankly, we have Buffy's passion for Angel, even though it's subverted at this time. We don't deal at all with Xander's passion for Cordelia in this episode.
Nope.
So, why do you think that is?
Not enough time.
Not enough time. Okay. It's just purely.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Because usually they would find a moment to kick that in there somehow.
They would, yeah.
Yeah.
But those are all different forms of passion. So the question I've asked myself is, which version is it? Is this, is it just animal instinct and drive?
Right.
Is it disordered interest? Right. They're different, perhaps. And there's some suffering happening. Right, or going to happen.
Yeah.
What you find out is that Jenny, with the Orb of Thessaly that she's bought, the paperweight, and whatever she's translated on the computer, this will fix Angel.
Yes, and she puts it on a floppy, a yellow floppy drive.
Floppy.
Right.
And in that moment, she's startled because
Angel's coming in the room. Yep.
Floppy disk falls between a file cabinet and the desk. You see that part. And she's like, hey, how'd you get in here? And then he lets us know the quite inventive way he could be in there is that the school perpetually has a Latin phrase on the motto. Basically says anyone who wants to learn can be here. Like it's invitation always in perpetuity. And that begins the moment where she is going to be hunted.
Yep.
Whedon does that thing where he gets us right to the edge of thinking that people are going to be happy, only to drop it. Where Jenny Calendar begins to take off running down the hallways. Angel begins to chase her. There's one moment where they really could have just done a little bit better at the action. She runs and there's like some sort of like janitorial cart. She grabs it and just shoves it at him. It's like, come on, man. Like there's a whole hallway here. All you had to do is step aside, but it literally knocks him over, But I don't want to, I'm not trying to pick it. I feel like I'm always picking. I just think it's,
well, Well, I think that a lot of the smaller action beats are difficult because they've got to have something, and it probably said something like that in the script, and then the director on the set was like, "Well, how am I going to make this play?"
Right.
You know. So,
But he catches her, and then he very dramatically
yeah,
snaps her neck.
yes,
And I mean, it was like, I mean, I noticed it. He did it. He's all vamped that very operatic, and he's like, I love that or whatever. And I said to my daughter, I go, he didn't even feed off her.
Mhm.
He just snapped her neck.
Right.
So it is like indiscriminate killing.
Yes,
So even for vampires need to feed,
right.
but that didn't even happen. I just killed.
No, no.
There's a reason for it, I think, but
What do you think the reason for it is?
well, I don't know. It's a good reason, but I think it's so what he can do with her body.
Yes, yes.
Although you could still do that, I suppose, with the puncture wounds in your neck. But
Sure.
we'll get to that in a second.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really sad. I mean, it is really sad. Do we go from there to Giles home immediately, or
Giles actually goes to visit Buffy before we go back to Giles' house.
that's right on his way?
And so he stops at Buffy's and he sees Willow, and Willow returns Ginny's book to him
Oh yes,
that she used to
spell.
do the spell, and then and then Willow lets Giles know that Buffy and her mom are having the conversation in the other room about the fact.
Part because Giles is like, oh, she's finding out that it happened.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's right.
should I go and help or intervene? And I love Willow because she very calmly with a nice smile goes, yes, that's absolutely what you should do. You should go and you should get involved. And then and then he's like, yeah, and he just thinks better of it and turns around and she goes, uh-huh. And she, it's dumb. No. So it was like, yeah.
Like, how would you say?
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I know I'm your daughter's librarian at school. Right. You gotta understand, kids are gonna be kids.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, so that's very key that she was more wise in that moment. Now he's gonna head back to his own apartment. Cool little pay he's got. And when he walks in, what he sees is basically a romantic setting. I think some music's playing, some candles lit, some flowers there, some champagne, whatnot. He's like, oh, they are about to truly come back totally together, him and Miss Calendar.
Yes.
And he begins to look for her, and she's not to be found. Quite obviously, she's in the bedroom waiting.
Sure.
So he goes upstairs to the bedroom, and as he looks in, he sees horror of horrors. Miss Jenny Calendar, dead, position on his bed. I think eyes open,
Eyes open.
staring at him. He knows immediately she's dead.
Yes.
There's not a question. And it is tragic.
And then there's like a weird cut. It's actually a really, really well done, where you just see the pain on his face, and it's still there. He's still in exactly the same position. Police are coming in behind him.
Yeah. So like immediately what you think is, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna discard the body? Is he gonna hide the body? Now he calls cops.
Right.
And yeah, and I thought he played that the despondence. You could say the lack of passion. Playing it really well. All the hubbub's going on around him. And this would you come downtown or come to the station to talk to you? He's like, oh yeah, right.
And so meanwhile, Angel is watching Buffy and Willow learn the news through the window.
Yeah.
And and all of that's just done in his voiceover. We can't hear anything that Buffy and Willow are saying.
And and he delights in their horror and about, oh my gosh, the acting. Because you don't really hear him, but you see the crying. Great job. I also want to say one more thing.
Please.
The fact that Giles calls the police. You don't see him call the police, but you know he does. The fact that they show up makes this so fun.
Yes.
Differently than had she been killed and turned into a vampire.
Right.
Like it's like all of a sudden it's real. It's a television show.
Yes.
It brings it to our level of reality.
It does.
So it does something different emotion.
That's right.
Viewers' perspective. Oh,
yes.
This is done.
Yes.
This is over. This is sad.
That's an interesting point because on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time when the police are involved, you're exactly right. It is final. The only exception that I can think of is Ted. When the police were called in for him, he was still he ended up still being alive. But none of the times Buffy dies are the police involved, because Buffy dies several times through the show, right? But the police are never involved with Buffy's deaths, which is kind of how you know she's coming back. All right, so
He goes it off, and yeah, and it is kind of operatic too. In these operatic elements
yeah,
of him snapping the neck, but the carrying off the police, and then the crying of Willow and Buffy,
yes,
and meanwhile the voyeur
yes,
voicing over about passion
yes,
is outside,
right.
watching it and delighting in it.
And now the Scooby Gang goes over to see Giles, and they find the police tape, and they find Xander makes this comment. He goes, "Looks like Giles had big plans tonight." And
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh man, poor Giles." But basically, Willow notices that his weapons are gone.
Yeah, he's arming for battle, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I think there's a question put to him by Cordelia, and he goes, "Well, I thought his weapons are still." No, those are it's just like everyday weapons.
Yeah,
These
right,
are
right.
his best weapons.
Right. There is.
This is where the heavy firepower is, which I don't know why he knows that, but okay, cool. And they're gonna head off to, is it the factory
Yes.
where Ever, Spike, Drusilla, and Angel, I guess, are called up. What happens? There's a crash, right? There's something happens in the factory. Now I'm trying to recall from memory here.
Yeah. He tosses in. I don't know what it is he tosses in, but it causes a fire. Like I think it's lit alcohol or something to that effect.
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
This is a cool moment because
Yeah.
Giles comes, the way the camera's positioned, I think you get a low angle. So Anthony Stewart looks really tall.
Yeah.
He's walking with purpose, and he's got like a baseball bat on fire. And he just comes up and with great confidence begins swinging on Angel. And gets to whip him pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's vestiges of the Ripper is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's no slouch like
Right.
Harrier. Until
Angel finally gets the better of him, lifts him up,
with one hand,
there, about to take him out, but then Buffy gets there.
with all his vampiric strength.
Yes.
Yeah, Buffy gets there and sort of saves the day by knocking.
And all those martial arts moves they seem to learn, become vampires.
Yeah, no, it's like right there. Yeah, it's kung fu blood, I guess. Yeah. So she knocks Giles out of his hand.
Right.
He gets knocked out right on the ground,
Yes.
knocked out, which is the reason why he's going to get away, because there's fire around and there's Giles on the ground, and Buffy begins to beat Angel up. And I looked at my daughter and I said, he's supposed to be the biggest, baddest sort of villain or teammate to Buffy. But every time they fight, she just absolutely wipes the floor with him.
Yes.
Until the very end when he gets away. They're going to give him a chance to get away. She's like, okay, watching this thing,
Yeah. That's hilarious.
It's basically what happens. Oh, look, Giles is going to burn up alive, right? Didn't he put her off on that? Like, look.
Yeah.
And that's how he escapes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Buffy gets Giles outside, and then Buffy punches Giles.
Punches him in the face because he was to run back in or something like that? Or
No, because she's just mad at him for
busting off half cock.
Yes.
Yeah, she punches him, which is great. She also apologized.
Yes.
Because she wasn't able to get the job done and avenge his Jenny. Yeah. And then the next day, very oddly to me, we haven't seen our principal that we love.
No, I haven't seen.
The very next day, Willow shows up to Jenny's class and she's like, "Hey, I'm supposed to teach today." Like they don't even say, "This is your fellow student who's going to be teaching her." Listen to her. They just send her in.
Yep.
Which is improbable. But
Very improbable to be an official. Even when I was teaching the music theory class, the regular teacher was just sitting there. He just didn't want to teach those days. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So even if Willow was teaching the class, there would certainly be an adult in the room.
And she lets people know that she's just gonna stick to Jenny Calendar's
Syllabus, yeah.
yeah, I plan for the day, and it's sort of like a way of saying, "I'm just gonna keep her spirit alive." The camera cuts away from her, the class, toward that little open area where that floppy disk is.
Yes, yes. To remind the audience that it's going to play a role later on. That's right.
Because when I think of passion, I think of a 3.5.
It's floppy. I was having a conversation with my daughter about floppy disks a few months ago, and it was something to the effect of she was saying something about watching a TV show on the computer, and I was like, we couldn't do that when I was a kid because the most storage you had was on a floppy disk, and she goes, why didn't you just put the movie on the floppy disk? And I was like, it would take what 40 of them?
Right, right. I remember, like,
Mhm.
would hit a thumb drive after it's like, "Oh, we got so much more space."
Yeah, I know.
Here's another Angel quote that I didn't read because they were getting a little long for us there, but, "It hurts sometimes more than we can bear.
Right,
If we could live without passion, maybe
right.
you would know some kind of peace, but we would be hollow, and empty rooms shuttered in death." That might be sort of the emotional center of Illustrations of the show, like, it's sort of this unwieldy,
Right,
natural thing,
right.
that's both good and bad,
Sure.
depending on how
How it's being used.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
Pretty much.
I think that this is definitely one of the more memorable episodes of Buffy. Like this one ranks in my mind as one of the ones that I never forget about. You know what I mean? Like the death of Jenny Calendar, the the floppy disk containing the methodology for reinstalling Angel, the Orb of Thessaly gag, all of those things are
Right.
things that I really identify with Buffy mythos. How about you? Is this one of the ones that you come back to, or no?
I don't think I thought much about it
Okay.
before seeing it, but now that I've seen it again,
Hmm.
I definitely think it's powerful because of the end of Jane Calendar.
Hmm.
Vox says ranks at number 12 on 144 episodes, which is like the highest we've seen in DNFM.
Okay.
Miles McNutt writes, the episode is interested in what is to this point the most substantial death. And I think that's right. Uh, it's going to be more powerful the fact that he will eventually, as we know, come back from this.
Mhm.
Andrew will come back from this, which makes it because this is about as low thus far as he's gone.
Yes. At least on camera that we've seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I'm stuck on right now is exactly what's the metaphor they're trying to say. According to this entry here on Wikipedia, the AV Club said the recurring theme of this episode is the common feeling of being left out, which I'm not connecting what that citation is saying because I'm really, I mean, let I am really taken by all the voyeurs. Yeah, that's what he seems to be so important at being watched, being an object.
Sure. Yeah, I think that if now that we've talked through the episode and I've been thinking about your initial question, which was thematically, what do I think that it's really about, or where's the theme being projected? Um, I think that it's actually describing very much like we talked about in another episode where you pointed out that sometimes the theme is sort of summarized at the end of the episode as opposed to the beginning. I think that what we're really talking about here is the nature of the emptiness of hollow passion. Angel's obsession is a hollow passion, and that's what we're dealing with the entire episode. That's my best stab at it, though. I think that we're also seeing um, people missing their passions. So Giles and Jenny is an attempt to rekindle passion or get to the point where They are experiencing the passion that they know that they have for each other, but they're not able to meet with that. I think that you've got a similar thing with Buffy and Angel. I think that Joyce sitting Buffy down and talking to her about the fact that she had relations with Angel is also an excuse to talk about this what's being portrayed as like a hollow passion, because oftentimes teenage sexual activity is hollow.
Right.
And that's what they're having this conversation about. Were you at least careful? All those sorts of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, the passion of Jenny Calendar. She
Mhm.
suffered. Passion of Giles. He's
Yes, the sufferings.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And Jenny passionately trying to rekindle a friendship, rectify, I guess.
Right. Well, and where do we go from here, as they say in Once More?
Okay, we've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 more episodes this season
That's
of Killed by Death. Killed by Death. It was a great title. Great titles. The of the next 5, 3 of them are some of my favorite Buffy.
Okay, here we are.
Killed by Death is an okay episode. Go Fish is an okay episode. But I Only Have Eyes for You is one of my favorite, like, sort of low-key episodes. And then Becoming Part 1 and Part 2 are probably rated pretty highly on that list that you keep reading on, is my guess.
All right, well, we'll get there.
All right. Looking forward to it.
I'm pretty passionate about this, so let's...
Nice.
All right. Take care, everybody.